What's going on, everyone? So the Kyrie Irving sweepstakes this offseason has begun. Kyrie Irving is expected to meet with several teams about just gauging the interest in a potential signing. Also, I imagine to put some pressure on the Dallas Mavericks. All the reports are that, look, Dallas just doesn't want to give him a full max, that they are reluctant, and him going to these teams like, say, the Sixers, right? The Sixers are very likely losing James Harden. Do they kind of get desperate and say, okay, well, we could use another star. Let's go get Kyrie. There are several options out there of teams that may kind of say, all right, you know what, let's take a flyer on Kyrie for a year, and that could force the Mavericks' hand on giving him a max contract. That seems to be ultimately what he wants. But we've also gotten countless reports of like, hey, he wants a forever home. He wants somewhere where he doesn't have to fight for a contract, and he doesn't have to bounce around, and he doesn't have to wonder if he's, on this team next year or not. He wants somewhere that he can call home. And one of the destinations in which he's meeting is the Los Angeles Lakers. And the reason I think that this is significant is because it shows the Lakers still have clear interest in him. I've talked about, hey, I wouldn't be shocked if Kyrie signs with the Lakers for $17 million, right? And I had so many people say, oh, the Lakers are no longer interested in Kyrie Irving. Stop. You don't think if the Lakers could get Kyrie Irving for $17 million, even without LeBron, you don't think if they could get Kyrie Irving for the cheap end or cheaper end, because he's worth more than $17 million, you don't think that the Lakers would do that? Of course they would. The reports of, oh, Kyrie, the Lakers don't want Kyrie. Come on. For every one of those, I could show you 100 that show that they are very much interested in Kyrie Irving. They just don't really have very many ways of getting him, so it's not this huge realistic possibility. Now, is it impossible? No. If you want to say, I don't see it, it's unlikely, sure, I agree with you. I think it's unlikely, but I wouldn't be shocked, right? If Dallas continues to play with Kyrie's money, and they're only offering, let's say, $20 million plus, right? And they're not giving you long-term money, why wouldn't he go to the Lakers for $17 million? The Lakers have a better team front to back. They could sign Kyrie and still have their mid-level exception because you just basically be swapping D'Angelo Russell with Kyrie Irving. I mean, you keep all of your depth. Because the big concerns have always been like, oh, Dallas isn't going to just let Kyrie walk. It's not really up to Dallas, right? Like, Dallas doesn't really have a choice in the matter. Kyrie has to say, like, okay, like, I'll work with you on a sign and trade. Or, like, James Harden opted in so that Philly could go and trade him, right? Kyrie has no obligations to do that. And he could easily say, like, no, you guys are playing games. I thought you brought me here. I thought you traded for me here. And here's the thing, too. Dallas might just be willing to let him go. They would open up a full cap space. Like, they would have a full max contract in cap space if they just let Kyrie walk. Like, and they could free up more. And, I mean, there's not a ton of things out there that make sense. But maybe you go get, like, a Chris Middleton. Would a Chris Middleton fit better next to Luka than Kyrie did? Maybe, possibly, right? Especially when Chris Middleton's kind of been used to being second, third guy, right? I mean, that may end up being a better fit on the defensive and offensive side for them. Gives them like another guy. It doesn't really solve their playmaking and when Luka's off the court, but I'm sure you could address that somehow, right? It's easier to probably just go get a playmaker than it is to go get somebody that can give you 25 and guard the best player on the other end. So, I mean, Dallas might be looking at this as like, if we can get Kyrie for what we want, perfect. If we can't, then let's just go look elsewhere. Let's go try to get a Chris Middleton. Let's go try to go get, maybe 2 or 3 guys, right? Like, that could be the direction that they pivot to. And then that can open the door for the Lakers. Now, don't get me wrong. If, let's say Philly works it out where they basically just get a bunch of expiring deals and stuff like that for James Harden, and they waive it all and they clear cap space because they're waiting to sign the maxi extension because they want to keep flexibility, right? And like, let's say Kyrie can go for, 25, 30 minutes, then he's probably going there. right? Like, the only real way I think he comes to the Lakers is if it's close. Like, if all the teams that are interested in Kyrie Irving are all in the, like, 20 million price range, then I could see him saying, like, for 3 million less, I could go play with the Lakers, play with LeBron, compete for an NBA championship. I just got a new shoe deal. My shoes would probably do better in an LA market than they would in any other market. And it's not counting brand deals, endorsements, whatever doors LeBron can open for me, right? So he would make that money back tenfold. But now if a team is willing to offer him, say, 25 or 30 million, well, now that kind of, then at that point, I think Kyrie just says, all right, I'm going to go here. Like, if Houston is like, because Houston has like 60 million in cap space, if Houston's like, all right, we're going to trade for, or we're going to sign Kyrie Irving, then I don't think the Lakers have a chance. But if it's like, hey, I want to go to a contender, if it's not just about the money and everything else is close, then I could absolutely see Kyrie going to the Lakers. Look, Kyrie's taking a meeting with the Lakers. The Lakers are going to sit and talk with him. He wasn't a free agent last year, right? All of the talks about Kyrie coming to the Lakers last year and how he really wanted to come and this, that, and the other, right? Like, the end of the day, Kyrie wasn't a free agent. We were at the mercy of the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie was at the mercy of the Brooklyn Nets. He could only do so much to force his way to the Lakers, right? And, there was the whole, why doesn't he sign for just the taxpayer mid-level? Like, who in the right mind is going to give up $30 million to go? There's no doubt that he wanted to play with the Lakers, in my opinion. I still believe he wants to play with the Lakers. He has a home in LA. Like, it would be perfect. It would be such an easy transition for him. Him and LeBron fit like peanut butter and jelly. It's perfect, right? So, like, I have no doubts that he wants to play for the Lakers, but it's, it has to be within reason. I don't see him giving up $30 million a year to go play with the Lakers. It just, at that point, he's not going to make that much money in endorsements and brand deals to supplement his lack of income elsewhere. But I do think that if it's close, Kyrie, I think, will make that decision of like, hey, for a slight haircut, I can go play with the Lakers. I can play with LeBron James. And again, the key is he's a free agent. So if he was ever going to want to come to the Lakers and ever really was about that, well, now's his chance to prove it. Again, I wouldn't blame him. Like, if he signs a $20 million contract, then to me that means like, all right, he really didn't want to come to Lakers. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm huge on going to Lakers, like he made it seem. If he signs like a $25+ million contract, perfectly understandable. I'll be like, okay, like I get it. Go get your money. Because especially with like your perception, who knows? Which LA could definitely help with his perception. If he goes to the Lakers and he's on his best behavior, you don't think like that'll raise his stock and his value? Of course it will, right? We've seen role guys that have barely played go to the Lakers and all of a sudden getting huge deals. I mean, Malik Monk, that dude went and signed for a vet minimum at like 23 and then got paid, right? Like, so Kyrie goes to Lakers, that would also help his image. But we're going to know a lot. If Kyrie goes and he signs for like 20 million, 18 million, something like that, then he really didn't want to be a Laker, because the Lakers could get to that essentially. I mean, a little shy, but if he really wants to be a Laker, the way that like reports have made it sound and like people in his camp have made it sound like, oh no, like if he has a realistic chance of going to Lakers, he's going to Lakers. If that's legit, then he'll take a couple $1 million off to go to Lakers. I don't see him taking $8, $9, $10 million off, of course, but $2-3 million, absolutely, right? So if he signs, like let's say he signs with Houston for $20 million, or Philly with $20 million, or signs back with Dallas for $20 million. that tells me this guy really never really wanted to come to Lakers. He was just always using the Lakers as leverage. Like if he could have gotten traded there, sure, but it wasn't like this huge destination that he had in mind. Unless the reports come out that like, something, I don't know, something crazy happened. Like the Lakers were able to get Middleton and they thought he was a better fit or something, But yeah, I think if it's going to come down to the money. How much are people realistically offering Kyrie Irving? And if they are if they're in the Lakers range, the Lakers can make it happen. So don't be shocked. Again, I think it's very unlikely. I wouldn't get my hopes up on it, but I wouldn't be surprised. Imagine if this offseason we end up with Brook Lopez and Kyrie Irving, because that could realistically happen if the reports are true that Brook Lopez is willing to come for the mid-level. Ooh, that would be an offseason. Talk about upgrading to a championship team, because you'd still have your entire roster. That'd be amazing. Like, you basically are just swapping Kyrie for D'Lo. Like, imagine upgrading D'Lo into Kyrie and then going and turning Malik Beasley and Mo Bamba, essentially, because that's what we let go to do that, into Brook Lopez. That's an offseason. But, again, don't get your hopes up. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? You want Kyrie? Do you not want Kyrie? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments.